Hi beautiful beings, my name is Brittany.
And I'm Connor.
And today we're going to be sharing about how we support our 19-month-old child, Ilya, specifically with the language we use and how we speak to them and speak with them.
I think that it's actually really fun to speak in baby talk, and I think that people just enjoy doing it. It's kind of like, it just kind of feels good. I'm not sure why, but you see it obviously with babies. You also see it with dogs and other cute animals. Couples do it.
Totally.
You know?
We've had our moments.
Yeah. It's kind of endearing and sweet. I think it also sort of holds children back a bit to only speak to them that way. And I just want to say that there's definitely times when I'm speaking in a certain way with Ilya that I probably would never speak to an adult as.
Yeah.
But I do really attempt to be conscious about speaking to them most of the time in the same way that I would speak to anyone else.
Yeah, I like that. As you shared that, I was thinking about okay, that sounds similar to our relationship where we have times where maybe we're
That's
cuddling
true.
and tickling and using playful voices.
Right.
So that's the same play you're experiencing with Ilya.
Right.
But then, yeah, I'd say 95% of the time I feel like we're speaking to Ilya as we speak to each other.
Yeah, it could be 96, 97%
90.7.5?
of the time. Yeah, I mean,
Who's to say?
Who's to say exactly?
Who's to
but
say
it's
what
definitely
percentage?
a high number.
Yeah. So there's a couple examples we could point to. One that just came to mind is that Ilya, two came to mind. I'll start with this simpler one. Ilya has certain words that they're learning how to pronounce. So as they're learning to pronounce them, as opposed to using the word that sounds cute and adorable, that maybe we would say once or twice to each other.
Just because it's fun to say.
Instead of proliferating that word in the vocabulary, we continue to use the full word because that helps them use that full word and develop the language and develop the sounds with their mouth. That's something I've been thinking about too. So instead of me mimicking them, I'm helping them mimic me, because in this case, in the case of the English language, I feel like I have more knowledge than them. In a lot of cases, I'm learning to mimic Ilya, in my movement. They have way greater flexibility than me, so I'm mimicking how they squat. So really we're just taking the skills of one another that are more advanced and learning from one another.
Yeah.
And then continuing to reinforce them.
Yeah. There's also times when Ilya isn't using language, they're just using their voice, and they know what they're saying, but we don't really know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So that's a fun area to attempt to make things clear. So Ilya would be like, and we can ask, they're really excited about climbing up this chair recently and turning the light on. And so we can ask, do you want to turn the light on? And they'll say, yeah. And so we'll do that. But maybe they'll say, yeah, and then we'll get the chair out and ready for them to climb up, and they don't want to do it. So then we stop doing it. And so sometimes I feel like they're saying yes when they actually mean no, and they're saying no when they actually mean yes.
Yeah.
But and even if we kind of know that they're saying no and they mean yes, we still honor that, because we want them to know that no means no and that yes means yes. Yeah. And we want them to feel empowered that when they use that certain word, they get the result that is linked with the word's meaning. And I have seen, as this has progressed, their yeses tend to mean yes more often, their no's mean no more often. Although we are in this
fun
phase where they say no as a joke. Yeah, as a game.
You can see our vlog if you want to see that.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then also things like ball, they call a lot of things ball right now. Pretty much anything that's circular is a ball. And so I don't want to just say, no, that's a ball and you're wrong. I want to validate what it is about that thing that makes it look like a ball to them. There's this, the vent on top of the house, the one that spins around and brings in air to the attic. They are pretty adamant about that being a ball. And so I let them know, yeah, it does look like a ball, Ilya. It's circular. It's actually a vent. Do you see the vent? And they have yet called it a vent, but we are, we're working through that.
Yeah. And they have identified other things that are circular now as their actual thing. Like an orange.
Yeah, there you go. Or an apple.
Apple.
An apple is an apple.
Yeah.
It also is shaped very similar to a ball.
Yeah.
And it can be used very similar to a ball, at least as far as Ilya is concerned.
Yeah. Another cool example of this that I love, and I feel like it happens every day, is when Ilya has had some sort of an experience that they want to tell us about. They're really enjoying telling us about their experiences.
Yeah, sharing like a story.
Yeah, of what just happened. And maybe that's like they tripped or they hit their body part on something, or maybe it's like they jumped off this chair and it was really exhilarating. So whatever just happened, I'll use the example of like they tripped. Because I think this really helps them process what happened and feel heard and feel validated and feel like in our language that we're speaking, we're able to understand them and give words to something that they're sharing about in their form of language.
If I can interject, this is about shared reality, which human beings all need. We need that shared reality. And so this is what we're reinforcing, is like we are sharing your reality, Ilya. And here's like the language that we would use for it.
Thank you so much for highlighting that. Yeah, I totally feel that. So Ilya has just tripped and they fell and maybe they hurt like their knee or their foot. And then they're there just like, oh, this and they always, I would say, point to the thing that hurts and point to the place of impact. So maybe that's their knee and they're pointing to the ground where they hit it. And so as they're pointing, I'm saying like, oh, I saw it looked like you hit your knee and right there on the ground, is that where you hit it? And now it like, does that hurt right now? It looks like it hurts, and then maybe validating like, I'm so sorry that happened for you. Like, how are you feeling now? Or whatever. Just helping them process what happened, give words to it, let them know, I'm really here for you, and I really want to hear about your experience. They just had a big experience. They want to share it, and they want to use us to process and understand it.
Yeah, and this is a really important thing, not to rush that process, especially when it comes to hurt and the expression of emotion. I know sometimes we've been taught to just pick a child up really quickly when they've fallen and just kind of rush that process and say, oh, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay.
Yeah, or like distract them, like, oh, look at the bird. Like,
oh, here, do you want some food?
You want some food? Laugh, jump, play. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really teaching the opposite of what many of us on this channel are attempting to learn now as adults, which is being able to be conscious of what we are feeling.
Yeah.
Children are already conscious of what they are feeling, and us as adults honoring that process for them to explain it to us is really helpful, honestly, for us as adults. But it also lets them know that they're on the right track. This is like a good thing for them to be doing and to be learning. And like we're talking about with language, it's a really good place to introduce language and communication and questioning and checking in and holding space. Gosh, I just want to add one more thing to this, which is like when a child falls down, not to assume that it hurts them.
Right.
Because this also is about putting your experience onto your child, and oftentimes your experience is one of anxiety. And so the child, instead of feeling the pain of the experience, is actually feeling your reaction to their experience. And this is also teaching something that we as adults are trying to unlearn. So really, like, letting them have their experience. Don't assume that they're in pain. Don't assume that they need you or need to talk about it. Let them, like, navigate that for themselves and to bring you into their reality of what happened.
Yeah.
And then just to hold space for them.
Yeah, I love this. I feel inspired by this topic that's coming out of this subtopic that's coming out of this video. I feel like we could make a whole video about, and I love that language is really such a tool for us in all these scenarios. Like Connor said, just like putting our experience on in that moment, we have no idea. We have no idea what it is for them, and it really changes for Ilya based on where they're at in the day.
Yeah.
You shared something before that just felt really important, since we are on this topic, around not removing the child from a situation that, like, from the location where they just were. I find that super helpful for us to be able to process what just happened, to be able to like stay. And I noticed for myself, I had a mountain bike fall this year, and I just wanted to stay in the spot that I fell and and cry and feel and like look at where my body was, look at where things happened. And I notice with Ilya so often, and other children too, they'll want to explain it, cry about it, feel it, and then get up and do the thing right again.
Yeah, like they want to redo it.
Yeah, in that place. They don't want us to remove them from this situation and kind of like, which for me feels like storing that trauma, like we didn't get to be there in the environment with it to integrate it.
Right. It's just a distraction method.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We're so happy you're here. We will see you next time.